Hello, and you are listening to the Book Was Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
I'm Paris.
And this week we're talking about Josie and the Pussycats.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand. Trust me, the book was better.
Honk if you love pussy is the sign that Tara Reid appears to be holding up in the opening montage of this film.
Yes.
Before revealing that, oh no, it actually says Pussycats.
Does she calls this a car accident, right?
She does. Someone is so... And I hope when you listen to that intro, dear listener, that if you were in a car, you made the appropriate affirmation. Is that the word I'm looking for? Anyway, that's just one of the many things that's in this film that is not going to appear in this book.
Yes.
In fact, it does mention later on that she has a sign that says, honk if you love hugs.
Oh.
So a little bit different.
A little bit.
So, yeah, you're very familiar with this film. Quite adult, surprisingly adult in tone at times.
Well, this is like this movie is my childhood. This is what I grew up with. And I love it so much. And it was one of those things like, you know, you come home from school and you watch the same movie every day for like 3 weeks in a row.
Yes.
This was it. And every sleepover, even my mum knows every line from it because I watched it so much with her. So, yeah, really high expectations.
Of this book? Yeah. Well, I've read the book. I'm not as familiar with the film. I did watch it when it came out on video, and I think I watched it, I sort of half-watched it for this, but I had a problem watching the end. But, yeah, this was 2001.
Yes.
So, would you say it's the best thing to happen in 2001?
Yeah.
Well,
it was bleak times, so...
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the worst thing. No, I've forgotten. I've promised myself I'd never forget, but I have. So, yes, Josie and the Pussycats. This is the novelization, and by me saying that it's toned down, you would think that, okay, well, this is a junior novelization, but it's actually clocks in at 250 pages. However, the last 30 or so are a bit of a bonus section about how to be a rock star.
Finally.
Yeah, so we might be able to put our own band together at the end here, and I'm going to keep that section as a bit of a surprise for you. We'll figure that out when we get there. This is, of course, based on characters appearing in Archie comics. They're from Riverdale, which seems to me like a pretty great place to live because... even like a crazy ginger can get two incredibly hot women in love with him. It's a question that often gets asked, like Betty or Veronica. Mm-hmm. I think it's only fair that I ask you, Archie or Jughead?
Archie.
Archie?
Yeah.
Well, what, no Jughead? Is it the crown?
Just, I love a good ginger.
I love a good ginger, yeah. Yeah. Archie is a ginger king. He's pretty great. It's kind of different for guys, though, isn't it? Like
in what way?
Like the ginger thing.
Oh, yeah. In like, you know, ginger girls have it a bit easier.
Oh, well, yeah. Like they're incredible. they're everybody loves that. And I got to say, I'm going to say it a few times in here. Rachel Leigh Cook as Josie. I just think she is absolutely the most adorable thing. I'm just mesmerized by her in this film, and it's funny because. I Google Rachel Leigh Cook after seeing it thinking, you know, what's she doing now? What's she look like? And I don't feel it. It's something about that hair, that makeup, that combination.
The leopard print.
The leopard print, maybe.
Flared.
But yeah, I love that hair. She looks amazing.
Oh, that hair, like, all my sister's friends had the flicked out bottom.
It's so cute.
It was just iconic.
She's adorable. And this book was written by Kathy East Jubowski and Jackie Jarosz. Took two of them, though I have a feeling when we hear their various credits that maybe Jackie wrote the end section on becoming a rock star and Kathy did the book, because Kathy is the author of Gilmore Girls, I Love You, You Idiot. Ever a Gilmore Girls fan?
Not really. I can't stand the way they talk.
I think I've talked about my Gilmore Girls fantasy on the show before. Goofy visits Pluto. Now, this isn't Pluto the dog, although he might be there. This is a book about the planets. Okay. He visits the planet Pluto.
Okay. Now not a planet anymore.
True. Needs to be revised, this book. Shark Attack, The Shadow Stone, an Ewok Adventure. And this one sounds pretty good. The Case of the SeaWorld Adventure, The Adventures of Mary Kate and Ashley. Plus a whole heap of other shit, like pages and pages of stuff on Amazon. Whereas I believe Jackie's only written one book, and it is called Dating with Confidence.
Oh.
And I was hoping to find a blurb so that we might be able to pick up a couple of tips, but nope. But it was quite popular at the time.
Is it a self-help?
I think so, yeah. It's about, teens and dating, how to, date people and stuff. And because this book at the end is about how to become a rock star and has all these, truly serious sort of tips, I feel like it's her handiwork. And the book itself, for the most part, especially the second half, it's really that kind of A to B, just put in all the dialogue, go through the plot. But there is a bit of enjoyment in the first part where they set up the characters. So that's probably where I'm a little bit more focused. But shall we read the beginning?
Let's do it.
I can't believe it, the girl said breathlessly into the television reporter's microphone. I mean, I can't believe that I'm actually going to get to see them in the flesh, because tears began to stream down her face, making tiny grey rivulets of mascara down her cheeks. Lake de Jour is my favourite band of all time.
All around her, other girls screamed their agreement. In fact, the airport was mobbed with thousands of teenagers who'd come here for one reason, to see the hottest boy band of all time in person. Rumour has it they'd be showing up any minute in a limo to catch their plane to their next concert.
What a twist. I'm expecting a girl band, and this film quite contrarian.
Men, ruining everything.
Yeah, starts with men instead. So everyone basically shits themselves as the Jaw turns up in their Hummer limo. Now, who are the four actors here? Because this is a pretty inspired boy band.
So there's the guy from Scrubs.
Donald Faison? I think that's his name. You were the expert on the film here.
When I was a child, there was no IMDb.
That's true. And I think they were uncredited.
Oh, really?
And there's Seth Green.
Yes.
And Breckin Meyer, both of which had been in Can't Hardly Wait, which was also directed by these people. I don't know who the fourth one was, though.
Is that the main guy?
No, I think he's got the least dialogue out of all of them.
The one with the flames?
I think the one with the blonde one with the goatee, maybe?
Like most boy bands, they sort of, you have your standout ones and then the rest are just generic white dudes.
Well, it's good because they're a pretty dorky bunch of comedians that are doing it. Anyway, the book's going to describe them. Here we go.
There was Marco, the sexy Latino boyfriend who set girls' hearts on fire.
And I'll tell you who else set hearts on fire. Mola Ram. And he owned a Temple of Doom, and he was bad news.
DJ, whose dark eyes and hip-hop dance moves turned fans to jello.
And remember, in the first X-Men film, when Magneto turned that senator into jello, that was also bad news.
Travis, the unshaved rebel grown woman secretly dreamed of running away with.
And do you remember when that unshaven rebel rapist ran away with Brie Larson in a room? Also bad news.
Oh, God. And Les, the blonde boy-next-door type whom every daughter and mother in the country wished really lived next door.
That's my Gilmore Girls fantasy. That's totally good news. So there is the four of them. And the book completely neglects to mention the fact that the song they are singing is called Backdoor Lover.
Yep. And, I knew every lyric to every song when I was a kid and, had them on my little MP3 player, would sing them constantly, and then I watched it again as an adult and sort of just was like, oh, no.
That's kind of insidious, isn't it, though, that they would do that? Because it does feel like this movie is marketed at that teen girl pop music fan, and then to have them obliviously singing about slipping in the back door is kind of,
It's distraught.
Yeah, that is a bit rough. It's an odd film like that. It doesn't, you don't really see things play loose like in both camps these days. So we meet their manager.
Meanwhile, totally unnoticed by DeJour's adoring fans, tall, handsome Wyatt Frame stepped out of DeJour's limo and checked his reflection in the tinted window. 30-something and incredibly well-dressed, he was one of the most powerful men in the world right now. because he was in charge of du jour.
And this is Alan Cumming,
Perfect.
the Nightcrawler. I hate his look in this film, though.
Really? But are you meant to?
I guess so. Yeah, you are. But he does look disgusting.
Greasy slime ball.
Yeah, and he's the British villain, and he's pretty much playing the same character that Richard Grant plays in the Spice Girls movie, right?
Yeah.
From my vague recollection of that thing.
Yeah. He made this film. I feel like, because you know when you have those films that, like, you say quite often, like, they're all acting in different movies.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like this is sort of happening, and you've got, like, the proper comedians who know what they're doing. They know what they signed up to, like, this sort of tongue-in-cheek thing, and then you have, like, your Tara Reeds, like, who they were just like, just be like a silly blonde, and, like, it, but it worked. I don't know.
I think that core casting of the group's pretty good. I mean, Tara Reid has become the butt of all these jokes because, she looks barely alive in Sharknado. Like, she doesn't look very aware of the world around her. But her playing that ditzy blonde character, she has one of my favourite lines in the film, which we'll get to later. But, yeah.
It's good casting.
Yeah, and Rosario Dawson's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I think she really embraces it all. And then Rachel Leigh Cook's adorable. But, Alan Cumming, he's got some chops, but they do give him far too much time mugging at the camera and breaking the fourth wall and kind of winking at the audience, which he does a fair bit throughout. And the Jaw fight amongst themselves on the plane, and the book also neglects to mention that it's covered with Target logos. And product placement is such a huge part of the satire of this film, and the book isn't really able to set the mood of that.
Do you think they didn't know which companies they'd have on board?
I made a comment a bit later that they seem reluctant to even mention companies, and apparently in the film there's like 70 odd company logos that appear
everywhere,
and no one was paid for it. It was all just part of the story and part of the satirical thing. But when it becomes really entwined with the dialogue later in the story, that's when the book mentions it. But I'd say they probably didn't know. There's a big clue later on that this was perhaps very much based on the screenplay and not the book. There's a bit of foreshadowing. You'll like this surprise. But look, forget the target. The best thing in the plane is a crazy monkey going apeshit.
Before Wyatt could answer, DJ interrupted. No, what's really whack is that dirty monkey. He held up his designer duffel. Damn monkey pooped all up in my bag.
Marco shrugged. You don't give Dr. Zeus the love, he gives you the poo. Now, I swear this is Dr. Zaius in the film, named after the planet of the apes as Dr. Zaius.
Yeah.
She says Dr. Zeus. This book is very poorly intern edited, which you'll notice when Valerie calls Josie Jose. She only really in this part of the book does the author try to get into the heads of the characters, and the character she's very interested in Josie, but Josie's all about dreams and ambitions and hopes, and she's very interested in Wyatt and putting in all these like kind of off-kilter Britishisms to go through his thought process, and I thought this was one of the strangest.
If it were up to Wyatt, he'd love nothing more to give these bratty boys what they really deserved. A good old-fashioned spanking for misbehaving.
Yeah.
Because what he's about to do, is so much worse.
Yeah.
That's not if spoilers, he kills them all.
Yes.
So it's I wish I just get to kill them. I really wish I could spank them. He's being held back.
And it's funny that some of these things have been cleaned up to be a little bit more politically correct, but then she's added some things which have this kind of really perverse bit of kink about them anyway. It's like she's cleaned it up and then unwittingly put in more weird stuff. So yeah, as you said, Wyatt really panics when the boys realise basically there's a strange hidden track on their new release. So the little boys just had to go and get too big for their britches, didn't they? Wyatt muttered under his breath as he strode down the narrow passage to the airplane's cockpit. Couldn't be satisfied with being undeservedly and outrageously rich and famous with practically every nubile young girl dying to throw herself at their feet, could they? Had to start asking questions, sticking their silly pierced noses into places where they didn't belong, messing up a good thing. And yeah, he murders them straight out. The pilot and he parachute out of the plane, which proceeds to crash.
Yeah, and this has my favourite, well, I'm going to say this a lot, but one of my favourite lines when they're all like, "Does you mean seatbelts?" I still like, I just love it.
They're a really good group. It's actually a really interesting way to open the film. Like, you've got to give that credit. You've got these 4 comedians playing, you know, a boy band, which especially at this time was a really, I guess, topical thing to poke fun at.
Yeah.
And then they just get outright murdered by a manager, which leads us to those damn Pussycats.
Music exploded through the small club, loud and raw and totally untamed. Josie McCoy, lead singer of the Pussycats, wailed out the words that came straight from her heart. Her fingers seemed to dance their own magic on the well-worn electric guitar as she completely lost herself in the song, in thoughts and feelings that she could only seem to express through music.
Thoughts and feelings. This is a novelization. I want to know whether she was hot or not, which is. That's where, again, I've got to give Kathy East Dabowski credit, because I think this is a to B, rush through it kind of novel, but what she does give, she gives a bit of class and a bit of thought.
Yeah.
Like, it's certainly more restrained than some other things that we've read. And also, here's the other 2 band members.
Tall, foxy Valerie Brown grooved away on the bass beside her, instinctively blending her sounds with Josie's in a way that only a best friend could. Drop dead blonde Melody Valentine pounded her drums as she drove the trio towards its climax.
Tell me more. And we kind of mentioned that satire is a big part of this, and here is the scathing critique of the music industry currently. Although notice she couches this with some passive words. That's what she felt was missing sometimes in those instant boy bands who were handpicked by producers trying to create a product to sell. Some of that music was so overproduced, synthesized and sanitized that Josie never knew for sure if it was a real person she heard singing or a computer. BB8 sings the hits. Who knew that BB stands for boy band?
I'd still buy it.
The boy band of the future, all put into one little spherical device.
I'm down.
Wonderful. And speaking of balls, it turns out they're playing for $20 a gig in a bowling club.
Val inspected her pay. Her face as dour as the engraving of George Washington's that adorned it.
So I like that writing. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. Always quick to mock bad writing. But when somebody pulls out a line, which I think is clever, we're going to give them credit for it. And then another clean-up of the film. When the car full of pink Barbies insults the band. At least we're not wearing stupid bunny ears, a girl in the back seat shrieked.
Now even Melody was getting angry. They're not bunny, she shot back indignantly. They're leopard, and they're not stupid, they're special.
Yeah, the first girl in the car screamed, "Blue plate special!" Which in the film it is...
Special ed.
Yeah, and in the trailer as well, that line is in there.
It's not... what does blue plate mean?
The blue plate special, I think that's like a food special.
Oh.
Like, so a diner or something would have the blue plate special, which is like a cheaper...
We wouldn't get away with that now.
But...
Not like get away, like, but you know.
Yeah. Special ed, quick! Get in the car, and Ryan Gosling speeds off. No, that's true. But we've seen that a bit lately on The Book Was Better, that around this era, making fun of any sort of mental thing was absolutely fine. I'm too afraid to even say anything beyond the vague mental thing, because now we live in a Tumblr world where I could have a flaming torch or a pitchfork rammed into my face. And this time it only took until page 24, but here it is.
One of the guys crammed the last of a hot dog into his mouth and tossed the trash on the already littered sidewalk.
The always reliable America, and it's 3 types of food. Do you remember what those 3 types of food are?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Burgers.
Burgers.
And pizza.
And
My 3 favourite foods.
So if anybody's playing BWB American Food Bingo, cross out that one. Let's see if the other 2 turn up. Do you reckon they will?
Look, if I know anything about this movie, probably.
Yeah, we shall see. And Josie has a crush on the sexy Alan M, who I don't remember from the comics, not that I ever read them, but I guess he's a character.
Why not? Alan M., Josie's best guy friend and the main subject of many of her most secret fantasies, shrugged in his broad shoulders. The truck's dead.
Yeah, he just wants her to fix his truck this time. She's going to be tinkering under his hood when I think she wanted him to be tinkering under her hood, if you get my Tokyo drift.
Josie watched him drive away, totally bummed. If only she could fix broken hearts as easily as she did cars.
Oh,
Bless.
That's sweet, isn't it? Poor Josie. I really felt for her. She's so sweet. And they share noodles because they're totally povo. And we meet a brand new character.
What died in here? The girls' luncheon was suddenly interrupted by an uninvited guest, Alexandra Cabot?
No idea.
Spoiled, rotten, only daughter of one of Riverdale's richest families, strode into the humble room like a supermodel walking down the runway at a major fashion show.
And this is such a paradox in this type of film because the rich people are always evil and spoiled, but the poor people are kind-hearted souls who are filled with dreams, except they all want to be rich and famous, which would make them spoiled evil people.
So look up to them.
Yeah, and then other poor people would hate them until they became rich as well.
It's American dream.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. It's like, all the rich people are evil. Oh, but now I'm rich and famous and successful, but I'm not evil. It's just everybody else. Everybody else is evil but me. That's basically the American mantra. And her brother, Alexandra's brother, is the manager, and he's kind of a douche.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sleazebag.
He reminded me of, like, if this was made now, it would be Ben Schwartz being the sort of character he is in Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Yeah. So they hear the news of DeJour's plane going missing, and basically, now that Josie is staring down the grim spectre of death, she realises it's time to stop playing around, to take destiny in her lovely hands, and work very hard to make the band a legitimate success. And then we get this weird scene where Wyatt, Alan Cumming, he goes to a music store and he plays the unreleased song from DeJour, which he's got on a CD.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense to me because in the news report they said since the death they've already put out this big limited edition memorial box set and everything. So I don't know why there's an unreleased song in his pocket. I don't know why he would go to a music store and tell the guy. The guy that works there is also like a DJ?
Yeah.
And you would think that guy would not be into DeJour's backdoor shenanigans.
Yeah.
But he's like totally into it.
Well, I guess he runs a music store. He's got to pretend at least.
Oh, yeah, I guess he's thinking it. That's right. I guess he's thinking about his bottom line.
Yeah.
Right? Not the backdoor bottom line that appears in the song. And the problem is, so he plays this song and everybody in the store is affected by the subliminal messages and they get the urge to buy things. But the book, this is where it doesn't want to mention that. So it kind of loses the impact of what this scene is really about. Instead, we just get this.
I love this song, one girl said.
It's the best ever, another cried.
Another girl gasped and her hand flew to her mouth. If I don't buy it, absolutely everyone will hate me.
Everyone in the store totally agreed. And there's this nonconformist in the store, this kind of dour Janine Garofalo Negasonic Warhead type who is not into this. She's not falling for the messaging in the song. And she is sinisterly taken away in a white van. Now, does she appear again in the film?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Where does...
So later on there's like a room full of like non-conformist types and they're all got headphones on and they're all like robots. So I think they're seeing like how far they have to go to get these individual thinkers.
That is such a relief to me, Paris,
so deep.
In my imagination, I thought she's either in a room or a Buffalo Bill pit.
Just slit her throat on sight.
Yes. She's in a shallow grave. So Wyatt's unseen boss, Fiona, she calls and threatens him. And basically he's tasked with, he has to find a replacement band straight away here in this godforsaken place.
He was in bloody Riverdale, for God's sake. He wasn't even sure what state he was in.
That's a bit of a fun poke. I guess it's like Springfield. We don't know where it exists.
I get it. I like
Somewhere where they've got old jalopies. And then he in his car, nearly runs over.
Wyatt gasped for breath and stared out his windshield at the idiots he almost killed. 3 girls stood frozen in the glare of the headlights like terrified deer. 3 very hot girls, actually, carrying instruments.
This is quite cool in the film.
Oh my
where
God.
The best band ever sign gets carried behind
and
them.
And it's like Paradise by the dashboard lights playing.
Yeah.
Smoke coming up.
Yeah. Film really has some great moments.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, spoilers, that it necessarily holds together, like it keeps that momentum. But when it's funny, it's really funny.
Yeah.
And really quite clever. And he's basically ready to sign them up to the label without even hearing them. Wyatt held his breath. The girls were knockouts, all 3 of them. And he didn't give a bloody whit if they sounded like Miss Piggy in triplicate when they sang. The music they could always manipulate. But he had to start with a look, an image, at least a tiny scrap of raw material out of which he could create a viable product. Something in his gut, or perhaps other parts of his anatomy, told him these girls had what it took. See, that's unnecessarily, gross. When she's taking out all the other stuff.
Yeah.
She starts,
Maybe it was his heart.
Speculating on... Okay, yeah, sure. Let's go with that. And he offers the contract in a cafe, and Josie and the girls have a secret meeting to discuss this.
Josie waited until they had all squeezed into the restroom. It was the tiniest Josie had ever been in. You'd think a place that pumped this much liquid, they'd have a larger facility.
See, this is the role of the hard-working novelizationist, filling in all those details that we've been missing in the film, because that's all I could think about. I was thinking about the size, bladder ratio, all this sort of stuff. She calls it out. And this is quite a nice line in the film, which I was very surprised would be in the book. I didn't think they would do this. They all fly to the city, I think it's New York. Even Alan M gets to go, as well as Alexandria and her brother.
I still don't see why you had to come along, he taunted his sister.
Alexandra stared wistfully at Alan M. I'm here because I was in the comic book.
What?
Nothing. Now there's a sweet fourth wall break right there. Take that, Deadpool. This is 2001.
Yeah, girls, comic book movies doing it first.
That's
no credit.
Absolutely right. Let's promise that we'll always be friends, Josie declared. Friends first and a band second.
Friends first, said Valerie.
Friends first, Melody agreed. Until what? Second act? We know how this works. What a jinx. Should have kept her full mouth shut. So yeah, they arrive in the city, they get makeovers and stuff, and they become famous pretty much instantly.
Yeah. So they had their own clothing stylists ready to help them find the perfect look. They had racks and racks of designer duds, clothes that the Pussycats quickly personalised by attacking them with scissors and pins.
Look, said Melody, I pinned my socks to my forehead and cut nipple holes in my dress. Like, these guys really... It's so funny when... And this is that kind of conundrum that a movie like this has, I think, is that it criticises mainstream, like, rock and pop style and music and everything. But then... And how manufactured it is. But then in order to make this film and to show these people in costumes and to have them somewhat dubbing them singing, it's all manufactured.
Yeah.
I think the only film that got that right was like Scott Pilgrim, where they actually taught those guys to play the instruments. They played them for real. They sang for real.
Yeah.
And the style doesn't feel really like fake.
Yeah, my little heart broke when I realised it wasn't really her singing.
Yeah. I looked it up. I was disappointed
Yeah.
too. I did actually, while I was reading the book, have all these YouTube video clips of all the songs playing in the background, and it was mixed up with Spice Girls and some other stuff. And so I'm quite familiar with the songs here now as well. What's your favourite? Just
the Josie and the Pussycats songs?
Yeah.
I don't know the names of them.
What's that one about the boyfriend and I've got no.
It's like, why do you do what you do to me, baby?
No. We don't know stuff, basically.
We have YouTube links with all the songs.
You've got the internet, look it up.
Yeah.
I have a blast.
I'm not going to sing them.
And already in the city, there's this giant billboard of Josie and the Pussycats, and Val is already jealous that Josie's name is up there. So this whole Friends thing lasted like 5 pages. Terrible. And Fiona, we get to meet Fiona, played by indie darling Parker Posey.
Yeah.
A Parker Posey fan?
Yes.
How can you not be?
She's great.
She's amazing.
And like with her and like Alan, you'd sort of normally be like, why did they do this film sort of thing? But without them, it wouldn't have that comedy. I don't know, like they just get it.
They get to chew the scenery a lot and get to be that really like... I mean, like, melody and stuff is kind of off-kilter, but these guys are really out there. And did you see the Gem and the Holograms movie from last year?
No.
No. See, that's really average. This is a far better version.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I guess, like, Juliette Lewis is kind of playing that Parker Posey role in that. Yeah, all these movies are kind of... They share the same... I think they've got the same father.
Only girls show up for boy bands, Wyatt told Fiona. This was a way guys will come out to see the hot chicks in tight leopard outfits, and girls will show up because they'll idolise these babes. Imagine Christina Aguilera 3 times, except one of them's really tan. He stopped and thought for a minute. Or TLC with 2 white chicks.
I quite like that writing. I think there's some really clever lines in here.
Yeah.
That, do sort of push further in a direction than you were expecting. So Fiona has a bunch of serious men from all different nations in her office, and she takes them down to her secret Men in Black basement where the real operation is taking place. And it turns out that she's basically leads this group that's responsible for creating all the trends in fashion, and they force it subliminally into these dumb kids through the rock music that they sign up. Over in another area, the slang team is trying to coin a new term. The new word for cool will be jerkin', the team leader announced. And I do like the commitment to that. There's a lot of times in the film later on where something is totally jerkin'.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a weird one. Like, I get the motives with selling stuff, because obviously you can get, like, the brands on board, but just, like, using subliminal messages to make a cool new word. Like, it's...
she changes the goalposts a lot in the film because later on it's stuff like be home before 11 o'clock, do your homework.
Yeah. Is there a more sinister... Is that why all the leaders are there? Are they doing something more sinister, or is it just about the money?
I think it's just about controlling people and them being easier to lead, but we're going to find out later, and I won't spoil it now, that of course Parker Posey has a completely personal motivation for doing all these things.
Yeah.
So there's like about 3 different explanations as to what it actually is.
Well, they all get the job done.
That's true. And when the rock stars get out of line or discover what's going on, they kill them off, which is a pretty dark concept considering they do flash up all these pictures of dead rock stars.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's perfect, it works, but they went there.
It's all like, oh, you know this person that you know and love who died tragically? Well, it was because of the sinister Parker Posey. And you're like, oh, what a bummer. And as I said before, this is where the book starts to get quite dialogue heavy for a while. It's pretty much just the film. They record their first single using the Megasound 3000 machine, and that's what is adding subliminal messages that they aren't aware of, and leads to, get your bingo cards out, our first hamburger.
I want a Big Mac. Melody suddenly blurted out.
Who can blame her? And it really picks up speed here. It's montage, photo shoots, fame, crazy fans that are pretending to be like them. Meanwhile, Fiona is planning this big concert where they're going to turn all the teens into well-behaved zombies through special headphones. Which can't just be about young people, because those young people are going to grow up. So it has to be about controlling people in general. Yeah. But it seems weird that they're only targeting young people.
I would be there because the headphones have cat ears, so...
They're pretty cool headphones.
I wouldn't need to hear the subliminal message. I'm like, take my money.
Did they ever merchandise this film?
No, and I have so much beef with that because, okay, like, I feel like a lot of films that were targeted at girls don't get to reach that cult status. Like, and this is one of them, like... Man, there was, like, cat ears and things. I would have bought them. I'd still have them now. And you never see a Josie cosplayer.
No, I would have thought they would have done dolls or something. There's dolls in the film.
No, I didn't see anything, but
I haven't looked it up. There might be. But yeah, no, you're right, because every sort of, like, film in the past that has been traditionally marketed at boys And I mean things like your Star Wars and all that sort of stuff, which is, those lines shouldn't exist anymore anyway, because obviously everybody enjoys that stuff. But you still have the boys section in the toy store, which has Star Wars and Marvel and stuff.
Ninja Turtles.
And the girls has Disney princesses and things. But yeah, all the boys stuff is dominated by entertainment. It's all things that are movies, and whereas the girls is more, here's a plastic oven.
He's a baby.
Here's a baby. Get used to it. And, look, this was a personal note, because as I said, I was listening to all these songs, and then some Taylor Swift came up, because it was a playlist. Now, I've never really thought twice about Taylor Swift. In fact, I had an argument with someone about, not an argument, a discussion about it at a friend's gathering, where this guy suddenly came out of nowhere and goes, and this is no disrespect to this guy, he's a nice guy, that's not the point of the story, it's not to rag on him, it's to make a point, but says, I don't get why people like Taylor Swift. It's like, I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Well, I'm a massive Taylor Swift fan.
Okay.
Like, unashamed. I, flew to Melbourne
Right.
in December to go to her concert because she didn't come to Perth. So
Suzanne's seen her a couple of years back as part of a, when she was doing the makeup blogging, it was part of a promotion with one of the companies.
Okay.
And they got to all go and see her. But yeah, he was saying, I don't get why people like her. And I said, well, she does pop music and popular and she looks good and people, like her.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I just don't get it. I don't know what the appeal is. And I said, well, you're not the target audience. Like, I don't like Dora the Explorer. And to say I don't like it is not even true. I'm just completely unaware / indifferent to it, apart from knowing what it is. And that's because I'm not the target audience.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not getting it, it's because you're probably not intended to.
Yeah.
Anyway, it came on. I think it was the... I'm going to fuck all this up because I'm old. The clip for Shake It Off.
Yeah.
Whew. And I thought she was amazing.
She's great.
I love that clip. She does all these different things. She's so expressive. She looks great. I know, like, having photographed a lot of people, and you really just appreciate those people that can just look good with all these great expressions and character, and there's so much energy coursing through her. The song's kind of fun. She plays all these different characters.
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing, like, she writes her own stuff, which I think is a big part of it, and it's something that sort of can lack with pop culture now, because if you don't want to be like, oh, I'm listening to Triple J all the time and indie, and it's can be a bit whiny. You want the fun stuff, but you also want that, like, I'm not like heart, but that realness of, like, she writes it and she does it, and that sort of, like, she's really talented with instruments and that sort of thing. So I think that's part of it.
I'm not an expert after only listening to a couple of songs, but for me it felt like there was a really strong, confident agenda behind all of her songs.
Yeah.
And there was a real, basically a kind of, not this aggressive, but a kind of, hey, fuck you, I'm comfortable with this, I'm doing this, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
And this is really good. And it reminded me of, I believe there was a white cartoonist. His colour is relevant because he was talking about rap and understanding rap and feeling invested in rap as a young man and becoming very interested in hip-hop and stuff. And he said that he found it to be some of the most empowering music because you've got these black guys who are singing about, like, these really affirming things about themselves. This really confident, this is who I am, this is what I can do, I'm good at this, I'm enjoying this, I'm part of this, if you don't like it, get fucked. You know, if girls don't like me, I don't care about you, kind of thing.
Yeah. And
he was saying it's such a contrast to all the white men music that he was listening to at that time, which was a lot of whiny, I've got a broken heart and this isn't, you know. And it was just really strong, positive stuff. And that made me appreciate something within that I'd never understood before in my life.
Yeah.
Something that, whereas I would automatically sort of go, oh, it's really arrogant or whatever, would go, yeah, that's actually kind of wonderful and meaningful to you can see why it's relatable to people.
Yeah. I know no one wants to hear a middle-aged straight white man talk about how great he is.
No, because you can do that in a picture, right? So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And she's got this awkward sort of not awkward because she obviously moves around a lot, but there's this kind of thin spider monkey gangly thing about her as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm not really drawn to, but but she has so much presence that I really just, I thought that was really cool.
Well, I'll lend you some albums.
There we go. Tell me what I should listen to. Shake It Off was my favourite.
It's a good one.
It was good. There was some other stuff. I feel like it might have been older where it seemed a little bit more like, in the film clips, she's not as, like, iconic. It's almost that sort of golden sunsets and stuff and hanging around by trees and wearing pretty regular costumes and talking about dudes.
She's, like, really, not to get a Taylor Swift fangirl, but, like, she's one of the few singers who you've seen go on a journey and come out the other end better. Like, she started so young and she had the country and the broken heart thing going on, and it was, like, perfect for then. And then, like, as her fan base and, like, people my age and girls my age and stuff have grown and got more feminist, she's done that as well. And her music has changed a lot and her style, and she's just great. She's nice.
Crazy Bad Blood film clip.
Yeah.
Just insane.
And her concert's always
amazing. It's like Lena Dunham's in that clip, right?
The one from Girls? I'm thinking Lena. Yeah. They were their besties.
Yeah.
She's besties
I
with
was
everyone.
just very intrigued by it all. It was pretty amazing. And look, when else are we going to talk about fucking Taylor Swift than reading the Josie and the Pussycats book? I think it's relevant, kind of. So Josie has a date with Alan M, and we have the third of the 3 types of American food making the unholy triumvirate.
Her favourite singing voice in the world sang out, "I'm the guy with bought the pizza, the kind that's good to eat, sir."
No matter how rich and famous you get in America, you're still eating shit, is basically the moral of this story. But Josie, she has to abandon Alan, who's not made his feelings clear yet, in order to go to a very glamorous party that Fiona is throwing. And then Melody gets this ominous message in the shower during a game of... This is, like, why Melody's pretty interesting, despite Tara Reid being, like, a bit of a nut. She's in the shower singing If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands, and every time she claps her hands, she drops the soap, and then she bends down and picks it up and starts again.
Yeah.
And does this, like, quite a few times. Yeah. And then she realises that there are large letters written in the steamy bathroom mirror was a message, a terrifying message. Your lives are in danger. Beware of the music.
Which I think she, like, screams at, and then she turns all the U's into smiley faces. And
puts a heart on the I in music.
Much better.
Yeah, and she's all cool again. I think I didn't follow it in the film because, as I said, I had trouble watching the end, and I didn't follow it in the book. Who is leaving these messages?
The lead singer of De Jour, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yep. Okay. That makes sense.
Spoilers.
Yeah. At least it wasn't welcome to the world of AIDS. Did you know that urban legend about the person? I know that sounds like it came out of the blue, but there is an urban legend, and this comes out of a certain... I don't know what the reference is. I heard it referenced recently, though. And, it's this thing that supposedly this guy, and he sleeps with this girl, and then he wakes up, and that's written in, like, lipstick on the mirror.
Oh, I've never heard of that in my life.
Google that, people. I think you're too young, that's why. Fiona invites them into her girly room, which is a pink stuffed toy-filled room, and this is what they do.
The Pussycats each took a plate and piled it high with junk food, then sat back on the plush pink carpet, but then they watched, confused, as Fiona delicately placed food on her plate. 1 Dorito, a cheese curl, and 5 fully counted M&Ms.
And then seriously, on the next page, a Twinkie shows up. A Twinkie.
That's like bonus points for... like the American foods as well.
Oh, you can't... Yeah, Twinkies are pretty much like the 3 savoury foods we've covered.
Yeah.
And then, Twinkies are a big one. I don't know why, because I can't think of anything less edible.
I never tried one.
I think the third little pig built a house out of them. As it turns out, Fiona is suppressing a lisp. And apparently, originally in the script, it was that she was really fat. In the past, and Parker Posey said, no, let's make it a lisp.
Oh, interesting.
So she has a vendetta against the popular kids. So this is why these high schoolers are being targeted. That's her motive, but forget about that. It's the photo section, and as far as photo sections go, this one is pretty nice. Like, look at these promo pictures of the band. They all look fantastic. We've got solo pictures of them all.
You just don't get that anymore.
Josie gets mean with an axe in hand, is the commentary there. And this one, Valerie strikes a glam rock pose. You better work.
It's pretty modern.
And Melody always sees the bright side.
Aw, she's stupid.
She's got a real boobs there too.
Hey.
I think. And
I'm no expert.
some little pictures of them all doing their crazy things, but and a great shot of the band at the end. And there's something about Rachel Leigh Cook now where she looks different to me. Like her nose is different.
I haven't seen her recently. I did quickly look at the IMDb page for this before I got here, and I was a bit like, oh, like, okay, Rachel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't know, like she had a nose done or...
To be fair, it was like 15 years ago.
Oh, look, to be fair,
Noses change.
whether or not this chubby Australian finds her attractive or not is really not a big deal to her, I'm sure. Really the absolute last thing that she should be thinking about or concerned about. But no, there's just something about her in this movie. It's just so iconic. I love her in this. Tensions are growing. Fiona's attempts to separate Josie from her bandmates is definitely beginning to work. And this becomes very clear when they autograph their dolls at FAO Schwartz.
Suddenly, the man grabbed the one-legged Valerie doll out of Valerie's hand, dropped to his knees, raised the doll overhead, then smashed it over and over again on the floor. Val stood up, a horrified scream stuck in her throat. The man caught his breath, then casually tossed the beaten, busted doll back to Valerie. She held it up. It was totally headless now, twisted irreparably. Sorry, the man apologised. There was a spider crawling towards Josie's table.
Now, this scene with the dolls, is it in the film?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not a deleted scene. It's because I don't remember. I know I've seen it, but I don't remember it in the film when I was watching it the other night.
Maybe it is a deleted scene because I know I can see it. But yeah.
I thought that in the film version there's like a joke about race in there in terms of Val's character. Like there's something in there that I remember thinking, oh, that's really kind of edgy.
Because I think they do a few little things like that.
Yeah, like about her being sort of the odd one out and being left out of things.
Yeah.
I remember hearing a story about, you know that movie Three Kings? It's like George Clooney and a white guy and a black guy, the Three Kings. I'm trying to think who's who. But the other guy in it said that George Clooney would pull pranks, like he would put money in the jackets on the costumes of the two white guys and then go, oh, look at this, we got a bonus and stuff. While the other guy was like, whoa, hey, what's going on? This is fucked.
Like offset, like on set.
Yeah,
not in the movie.
Yeah. Like as a bit of behind the scenes pranks. Because he's a prankster, George Clooney.
Yeah.
Likes a prank.
Never. Well, I never even heard of the film.
Three Kings, yeah. I think it's directed by David O. Russell. I think it's one of his early ones.
I'll go watch the behind-the-scenes footage.
It was like in an interview I heard somewhere. What? This isn't in the film, is it? I don't know, Valerie said distractedly. She was staring at the cover of the magazine Melody was reading. It was the latest issue of Vanity Fair, and it had Josie on the cover, body painted with leopard spots.
Unfortunately, for your sake, I don't think it's in the film.
I wonder if that was a bit of a Demi Moore riff from when she was body painted on the... See, you're too young for any of this. She was body painted on the cover of Vanity Fair wearing a suit. Alan M. He's doing a pretty shitty gig somewhere, but Josie agrees to go until Wyatt lies and tells her it's been cancelled. Meanwhile, Val and Melody, they got to go to a solo publicity opportunity to appear on Carson Daly's TRL. But when they get there, everything's fake and made out of cardboard. And this is interesting, because this is quite different from the film. Read this.
But the figure who stepped into the light wasn't Carson Daly. It was the actor Jack Black. Val and Mel had seen him in High Fidelity, and Jack looked nothing like Carson.
Certainly doesn't look like Jack Black even in the film. Instead, in the film, they've got African-American actor Aries Spears. Aries who, you might be wondering? Maybe that's because you haven't seen John Leguizamo's The Pest.
Oh, I put it on my list.
So yeah, I wonder if that was a I mean, I guess they must have thought they were getting Jack Black at some point.
Yeah, he would have done really well doing that, I reckon.
Well, it's even like the dialogue in the book is written for Jack Black.
Yeah.
It's not the same as the dialogue that the other because the comedian that they've got instead does all these impressions of things, whereas
Yeah.
Jack Black sings "Fear the Reaper" in the
Oh,
book.
I want to see that.
I know. The real Carson does turn up, however.
Carson folded his arms and pretended to ponder the question. Well, it's not quite Total Request Live. You could say it's more like Total Request Dead.
Suddenly his eyes sparkled wickedly. He pulled 2 baseball bats from behind his back and tossed one to Jack Black. Yeah, see, we received only 1 request today, Jack said. He started twirling the bat menacingly. The girls turned back to Carson.
And that's to kill you, Carson announced.
Yeah, so Jack Black sings Don't Fear the Reaper while trying to smash Valerie with a bat. And then Valerie kicks him in the dick and Melody knocks Carson out with a cardboard cutout of Whitney Houston and they escape.
Which is Matt Damon in the film.
Ah, right.
Couldn't even get a Whitney cutout. Couldn't get Jack Black.
We got second best. You know that Tara Reid got engaged to Carson after he did this in the film?
Really?
Yeah, in real life.
Wow, must have had chemistry.
Yeah, they were together for about
short scene.
a few months. So they rush to see Josie to tell her what's happened, but she has been brainwashed by a song that Wyatt has given her.
Valerie recoiled from the person who looked like her best friend. Maybe aliens had come and taken over her body while they were away. Maybe she was suffering from a strange big city viral infection that made people just plain mean against their will.
2 great premises for a sequel, I should mention. And she tells Melody that puppies grow up and die.
Yeah, which she needed to know.
It's true. And Josie heads out with a Discman, listening to more subliminal messages about how her friends are dead-set dickheads. But she is saved by...
As she ran down the street, a stray cat darted out in front of her. With a cry, she tripped and landed sprawled on the pavement. The Discman warbled out in front, the CD messed up by the fall.
Saved by a cat-tagonist.
You'd think there would have been a cat earlier.
True! Like, that is their spirit animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I disappointed that the girls, there's no scenes with them, like, drinking milk from the floor, like Halle Berry, or licking themselves, or anything like that. And she remembers her former pact about friendship, which leads us to roll Act 3, which is thankfully very quick here. The book is all A to B dialogue. Josie confronts Fiona, exposes the plot, and reunites with her friends. This is the best bit, though. I said before that Melody has one of my favourite lines. This is it.
Oh, Mel, Josie said. Of course I do. You guys are my best friends on the planet. And I know you don't treat a friend the way I treated you. But believe me, if I could go back in time, I'd take it all back.
Melody nodded, bummed. That would be cool. Then she smiled. If I could go back in time, I'd want to meet Snoopy. I love that. When that happened in the film, I laughed so much. I was like, yeah, I want to meet Snoopy too. Let's make that happen.
I want to live on whatever planet Melody lives on.
Not Pluto. Though it might be an equally goofy planet. And guess who's also here to confront Fiona at the concert?
Josie gasped as she recognised one of the world's most famous faces, a face she thought no one would ever see again in real life. Blonde, boyish Les of du jour.
He was followed by 3 guys in full body casts. You couldn't see their faces, but from their accessories, and a monkey in a body cast. You could tell it was the Resident Joe monkey in a body cast. You got me, Josie. And they solved this the American way with violence. Fiona took the challenge and slapped Josie across the face. Josie slapped Fiona back. Then they just started slapping each other wildly, scratching at each other, pulling hair. A world-class cat fight. Irony. And yes, as we know, Fiona was shunned as a kid because of a lisp, and it turns out that Wyatt is not called Wyatt, and he was also shunned at the exact same school, and I liked this bit as well. Do you want to do the lisp?
Alright.
Lisa, it's me, Wyatt exclaimed. Wally, white-ass Wally.
White-ass Wally? The albino kid? That's impossible. I mean, first of all, he wasn't British.
Wyatt suddenly dropped the accent. I'm not. I just started talking this way because I thought it would make me more attractive.
Does it mention... Yeah, because he's the one who's fat. Like he rips open his shirt
it does,
and
a big gut
white
comes out.
belly.
Yeah.
He's bald.
Yes. You don't get to see his white ass, though.
Devastated.
I don't think. And they fall in love and then get arrested, get taken away by agents who decide, yeah, we're not into this anymore. And the girls get up on stage and play the real music for the first time, and everybody shits themselves in delight. And Alan M is there. He says, oh, I love you, Josie, and all is well with the world. And this is the ending. I haven't written it down. I'm going to read it straight from the book. And finally, Alan M was deposited at the foot of the stage. Quickly, he scrambled to his feet and faced Josie. I love you. Josie smiled at him, tears welling up in his eyes. I love you too. And with that, they threw their arms around each other and kissed, just about the greatest kiss anyone in the stadium had ever seen. The crowd cheered and whistled. Then Josie and Alan M broke apart, laughing and a little embarrassed. I think someone stole my wallet in there, Alan M said. Sorry. Just then, Valerie stepped up to them, still playing. Josie? Val gestured to the crowd. Oh, right. She turned to Mel, signalling her to cut off the breakdown, and then the song kicked in again. The crowd was really into it now. Pussycats loved it, smiling to each other as they played. Alan M watched from the wings, proud, fantasizing about a few duets he'd like to try with Josie. Woo! And Alexander and Alexandra lived out a fantasy by dancing backstage with the guys from DeJour. And as for Josie, all the insanity of the past few days evaporated and she got down to what it was really all about. The music, clean and pure, surging from somewhere deep down inside of her. Alan would like to be. Music that no technology could ever duplicate or improve upon, and her heart soared as she sang like a bird does. Not for ratings or record deals or TV appearance or applause, but because it's just gotta sing. The kids in the audience listened, really listened, as Josie sang about friendship and love and all the things in life that really mattered. And they knew that for once, they were hearing something real. And the place rocked, which is a sentence you could use to finish just about any book, I reckon, and it would improve it. And the place rocked. And before we do our usual housekeeping, we've got to look at this end section. Paris, I haven't read this in entirety. I'm just going to cherry pick some bits and let's see what you think.
All right.
So it starts with a press release which says, say step back to Backstreet Boys, just a sec to NSYNC, uno memento Ricky Martin, and chill out 98 Degrees. Get ready for the most perfectly awesome band in the stratosphere. Get ready to say meow to Josie and the Pussycats. This is supposedly written by Alexandra. Mm-hmm. It's got a heap of backstory on all of the characters, and it goes on far, far too long. But here it is. Here's the you want to be a rock star. So, a rock and roll rebel, a pop princess or prince. The fact of the matter is it takes different skills and different styles to get down these three musical paths. So the other path was a folk singer whose life and music make the world a better place. Mm-hmm. Have you got a choice there? Rock and roll rebel, pop princess, or a folk singer?
I would be pop princess.
Pop princess. Let me look that up. No, it doesn't really go on those things. We've got a how to be a rock rebel. We've got guitar gods and goddesses. We've got Josie, the ultimate guitar queen.
What would you be?
When you watch Josie strut her stuff on stage, you know you're looking at one serious rock musician. She's one with her guitar and she can make it majorly move and groove.
Oh,
I've never seen those two together. Oh, listen to this. You have to start dressing like a guitar player. You have to grow long bangs so they can hang over your eyes when you're playing. You need to cut holes in the knees of your jeans. You need to find a pair of platform boots you can walk in without tipping over, and you have to learn to strut. Watch some old Heart videos and check out Nancy Wilson. So this is legitimate advice.
Yeah. If I knew that playing guitar was that easy, I would have done it ages ago.
Well, there's also Bass Patrol. There's some information if you want to slap the bass and be funky and cool. We got The Beat is about drumming. These are not stable people. These are not the type of people you want doing your taxes or operating on your pet cocker spaniel. These are crazy types.
Crazy?
You're probably thinking of like Animal from the Muppets. He's pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, we had to choose between Tara Reid and Animal from the Muppets.
It says here, melody, drum dumb. An unkite person might surmise that Melody is a little brain challenged. When the going gets tough, she makes lemonade. When things get crazy, she stares at her toes and notices they resemble a family of astronauts. Okay. Keyboards, why not? It says you may notice that the Pussycats don't have a keyboard. You may notice that Bon Jovi does. Are you a hero of yours?
Yeah.
He would have been like about 90 when you were 2. Lead singers always go their way. Oh, here's some options.
Okay.
You've got the talent, now you need the look. The blonde bombshell, the raven-haired soul singer, Ab Fab Red, other.
Other?
Yeah. Oh, look, there's even some advertising in here. But if you're self-employed or you work in a record store, get a bottle of Manic Panic or Punky Colours and go for it. Dress the part. A lead singer knows he or she looks hot in gold, silver and red. Whether you're sporting leopard print pants or glittery tops, you're out to make an impression.
Dress for the job you want.
That's true. You write the songs, getting your band together. Here's some tips. Ask around, put up flyers, take out an ad, hit the net.
Hit the net?
The internet is a great tool that can help you reach out and
Basketball.
Catch band members in a net. Post notices and mention your band in chat rooms. You may never know, your very own bandmates might be out there waiting for you. So look, there's all these things. Look, it goes on and on and on. This really is, there's pages and pages. This one's called Poppin' Fresh.
Oh, is that dancing?
Not about pop groups, yeah. If you're a pop singer, chances are you won't be writing any of your songs, at least not for a long, long time. Someone else is going to write it for you. 4 phrases every pop group should memorize. Here we go. 1, we want to take our music to the next level.
Yep.
2, we're edgier than other groups. We have more of an R&B, hip-hop, urban feel to our music. 3, no one tells us what to say. And 4, we're not a boy/girl band. Types of songs pop groups can sing. We broke up and boy, am I sad songs. We got back together and boy, am I happy songs. We met and my life will never be the same songs. Boy, do we love our fans songs. Christ. So this goes on and then it all finishes... Oh, Josie's love tips? You know Josie's in love with a totally great guy. Alan, man, he's handsome, talented, romantic, and totally impervious to insults about his name. Be yourself.
The most generic name. What is it?
Show that special someone your skills. I can imagine how that would work. Show Miss or Mr. Right that you care. And don't be afraid of PDA. Personal displays of affection. Christ. Alright, and then this all ends in a quiz. Do you want to take the quiz?
Okay.
I'm going to circle your answers.
Okay.
You've got a day off and you're looking for something fun to do. What's the first thing on your list? Head out to a record store and check out the latest CDs. Spend the afternoon at the gym lifting weights or running on the treadmill, or bounce over to the local pound and volunteer some time to work with the animals. I think I know this one.
Yeah, let's go animal. Or would I do that on my day off, considering that's my job?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
You had,
It's not the gym.
you had a really bad day and you have to find a way to cheer yourself out of it. Grab a pair of headphones and rock out to your favourite band. Head over to the gym and punch a bag or jump some rope, or you never have bad days.
Let's go with I never have bad days.
Alright, I don't think you're going to
Because
like where this is going.
If I went to the gym, then my day would be worse.
These are all the same. Your romantic soulmate is someone you can talk to, share secrets with, someone you have a lot in common with, someone who can keep up with you, someone active and energetic, or someone cute, cuddly and sweet like a human puppy dog.
Let's go with puppy dog.
Yeah. Hey, Zach. The most important quality in a friend is honesty and trustworthiness, loyalty, or sweetness and sincerity.
Let's go with, what was the first one?
Honesty and trustworthiness.
Honesty, let's go with that.
Your motto is rock on, sister love.
Oh my god, it's like I wrote it.
If someone is in your way, knock it over. Or honk if you love hugs and rainbows, and or pussy. I'm
Yeah,
right
honk if you love pussy. That's
That's the one.
I want that on a shirt.
Yeah, get Cat Haven onto that.
Well, if I'm talking about there's been no Josie merchandise, I'm bringing it back.
Bring it back. And a few more of these go. Your idea of a perfect evening with your friends is popping popcorn, listening to music and writing and sharing poetry. Spending time doing something seriously high energy, bowling, smacking around some balls at a batting cage. Dancing up a storm at a club. Or doing each other's hair and nails and talking about your crushes.
I always love smacking around some balls with friends.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. You're at the shopping mall. What's the first store you hit? None of these we have. Sam Goody's Coconuts or Record Town. Models or Foot Locker or the pet store.
Not the pet store.
No?
No, don't go to pet stores. Let's just go to the record store.
Yeah, I think so. Sam Goody's. Your birthday is coming up. What's on your gift list? A new amplifier and some guitar strings, a new amplifier and a punching bag, a new snare drum and a pet kitten.
A pet kitten.
Yeah. What quality do you share with a real-life pussycat? You're mysterious and you like spending time alone sometimes. You can jump to phenomenal heights, and when someone steps on your tail, you scratch them, or you're warm and cuddly.
I can jump really high.
That's cool.
I've been told that so many times.
My favourite comment in a comic book letters page was someone saying, I don't read your comic anymore because I only read comics that I relate to. That's why I read The Flash, because I can run real fast. If you could only use one word to describe yourself, this is the last question, by the way. You guys, you can take this at home. What word would it be? Focused, tough, or tender-hearted?
That's 2 words.
It's a hyphenate.
Okay, tender-hearted.
Yeah, so
tender.
If you answered mostly C's, which you did, you and Melody would be true blues forever.
I can see that.
Yeah. Or you and Josie are a match made in Pussycat heaven. Woo-hoo. Oh, there we go. Here are the names of the song.
Val didn't ever go to the gym. What are they talking about?
She, kicked people. She kicked Jack Black in the dick. There's an ad for the soundtrack.
Okay.
Pretend to be Nice is the song I was thinking of. And there's 3 small worlds, You Don't See Me, Real Wild Child, and Money, just among a few.
Where's the de jour list?
Oh, and 2 by de jour, including de jour around the world. Doesn't mention Backdoor Lover. And there's even a little ad for Josie and the Pussycats at archiecomics.com. And I'm disappointed. They don't wear these outfits in the leopard bikinis or leopard one pieces with their legs showing. Never
Missed
happens.
Opportunity. There's going to be the Archie. They make an Archie TV show, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, I think so. I know. My friend's big into it, and he was showing me stuff from it. And I was
they
asking,
are. Yeah, I saw some casting stuff about that.
They've cast Josie.
Oh, so they're going to mix everyone in.
I think so.
Is Sabrina going to be in?
I don't know.
That's interesting.
I don't know if it's going to be like a teen drama sort of. Well, I mean, that's what it is.
It won't be retro.
Yeah.
Well, I got to ask, because I always do. Was the book better?
I feel like I would be betraying myself and my childhood.
Your
if
past. Your life. Your past life.
Yeah, and there's just so much of the adult humour and the tongue-in-cheek and product placement that was just so core to the movie, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to honk because I love the Josie movie instead. And I really do enjoy Josie in the flesh as well. And yeah, all the performances are pretty good. So definitely the film. Now, there are a couple of reviews on Amazon. I'll keep this brief. First one, I just like this. It's a really good book and you should read it. At the end of the book, it gives you some pictures and also ways to be a girl band or something. I think the fact that this person had trouble figuring that part out is actually fair in this instance. And this one's about Josie and the Pussycats, but I also thought that, when I explain what this podcast is to new people, I don't think they really grasp what a novelization is. And I think this review kind of sums that up as well. So much to the point where I might incorporate this into the blurb of our podcast. This is a wonderful book for anyone who has or has not seen the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, the book tells you what the movie is all about. You can practically see the movie in your head as the scenes are played out on the pages before you. If you saw the movie, this is a great way for you to remember the movie and to relive it all over again. This is a great book for anyone who loves Josie and the Pussycats or is unsure what the movie is about.
That's just describing a book.
Yeah. If you went to college and you had a class called Books 101, I reckon on the very first first lecture, that's something that you might get taught.
Yeah. If you yeah.
So this is a book. This is kind of how it works.
I worry for these people, when they say you can see it in your head, what is happening when they're reading other books? What's going on in their head?
Circus music.
Yeah. Just a collection of words, I don't understand it.
Yeah, what is this? And, it's a great book for anyone who loves Josie and the Pussycats, or is unsure of what the movie is about.
And, it's the weirdest argument for reading a novelization. All these reviews sometimes that are if you're not sure about the movie, check the book out. It would take so much longer to read the book than to just watch the movie.
Imagine you're in the cinema foyer and you're looking up at the times and the screenings and it's Josie and the Pussycats and you're like, I'm not sure what that's about. There's some cute girls, but do they own a home for cats? Or I don't know. I want to read the book. and then you walk out, go to the bookstore, pick up the book because you're unsure what the film is about, and you read the book, and then you go, now I feel like I've seen the movie in my head. I'm comfortable with going and seeing it in a theatre in front with other people. Because, you know, a lot of people just go in and see movies, but it never hurts to be prepared.
Yeah.
And really sort of set yourself up for it. So, yeah, very good advice. So, thanks for listening, everybody. Please listen to the other shows. FP Cast every week. That was yesterday. Pop Culture Reviews podcast. We reviewed Zootopia yesterday. It's a really great movie.
I've heard really good things about
So
it. I've never
good.
even seen the trailer.
Oh, don't even just see it. Don't even
Okay.
watch anything. It's just so good.
Am I gonna cry?
You'll love it. Maybe not. But that's not to say that it doesn't have meat to it. There's
Okay.
some really good ideas in there and a really good message, and it kind of surprises you even because you think, oh, I know what this is about, and then you're like, oh no, this is much better than that.
I'm curious.
But really funny too. Really great characters. So listen to our review for that, or just listen to the short version I just gave you. And go to fruitlesspursuits.com. You will find all our things there, links to our Facebook page, discussion group, Patreon for the diehards, all that sort of stuff. And thank you so much, Paris, for joining me again on this public holiday, no less.
Thanks for having me. And thanks for, getting Josie and the Pussycats so I get to talk about it.
I was really excited.
Yeah. There's no opportunity to talk about it. It just doesn't come up.
Is there anything about it that we've kind of missed that, I mean, they were my excerpts, anything that you, you want to discuss about it that I might have jumped over?
I think the main thing when I started thinking about it that I wanted to get off my chest was about, cult girl films sort of coming back, and which I'm happy to be proven wrong about if anyone has some sort of ideas about it. But I really, I think that's something worth thinking about.
I think you're right about the merchandising
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I wonder, how different it would be if it came out now.
Because there's those cult films people talk about Mean Girls, and then going back further, I know when I was in my early 20s, there was very much, a lot of people of that era were into things like Empire Records, which isn't so much necessarily a girls' movie, but it's something that I think really resonated with a lot of girls. I think now that, the whole Funko Pop vinyl explosion, we're getting finally merchandise for some of these old properties.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think it's because the main reason we started speaking about this film was because on the Facebook group we were all discussing, top 10 or top 5 comic book movies, and I said this, which I don't think I've ever seen make it to any lists.
yeah.
And not that I'm saying there's not comic book movies for girls, but I think that it's interesting the ones that are forgotten. I don't know where that comes from.
This is, I don't know, how is this film held up? Is it the sort of thing you can go into JB Hi-Fi and buy on Blu-ray? I don't know how available it even is.
Yeah. I think it's still around. It's not like a buried treasure.
I remembered it fondly.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's probably better than... Well, it's definitely, leagues better than the kinds of things that it's making fun of.
Yeah.
Like the Spice Girls movie or anything like that.
Yeah. I do. I don't know as well because, it's such a big thing for myself and my group of friends. If it's even translate to other girls my age, or if I'm just assuming because I love it so much, maybe it is just a crappy film that no one likes but me.
Well,
Dunno.
that's our discussion, isn't it? Let us know on the Facebook page if this is something that kind of resonates with you, because I kind of like that. I feel when we're choosing the stories for Book Was Better, and I try and sort of even it out a bit. I think I'm very pleased that we're a nerdy podcast that has a very large female listenership, which is wonderful, and female contribution. The guest hosts have mostly been female.
Yeah.
But there's those films that we do where it's we're doing Ghostbusters or Back to the Future, the stuff that everybody likes and goes, yep, that's the sort of film that I know of and I'm looking forward to this one. But I do notice that when we break out an Enchanted or something like that, there's always sometimes even a quieter female element that suddenly come out and go, yes, this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this. And I hope that we can keep... I think I even enjoy those. When I think about some of the stuff that I've enjoyed most on this show, it probably is stuff like like doing the Hannah Montana movie or the Britney Spears Crossroads movie, because they're just so...
I love that movie as well.
Yeah, they're just so funny to me. Like, there's something just so interesting about them, and they're not hard work to do. They're quite enjoyable, whereas, like... I took the break last week where I was going to do Waterworld with Violet, and we will still do it. It'll be coming up shortly, but it just seemed like such a chore to get into that plot.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, you know, when you start doing stuff like Ghostbusters and that, like, what else is left to be said about Ghostbusters and Back to the Future?
Yeah, no, that's very true. But then... I think what I like about all our shows, and it's up to the listener to decide whether this is true or not, I don't know, I feel like we have a very personal viewpoint. You know, we like what we like, we don't like. It's not that internet hive mind kind of, this is something that we've all agreed is good, or this is something that we've... Because I was thinking this the other day, what was it that reminded me? Maybe listening to, like, sort of mainstream top 40 music in Jacinta's car, but you kind of realise that everything, whether it's popular or not, is just absolute shit. Like, everything's really bad. You know, I love Force Awakens, but seeing it through someone else's eyes who doesn't have that level of investment, you realise that they would think it was just shit.
Yeah.
You know? Like, everything's... Not that it's shit, but everything is... easy to criticise.
Yeah.
It's easy to poke holes in anything. And you got to suddenly think, well, how much of my time do I want to spend doing that? Because there's things that we all just unconditionally love because they for nostalgic reasons, or because they just speak so directly to our interests, that there's going to be billions of people in the world that don't share that enthusiasm or don't understand that enthusiasm, and that's fine.
I think as well, like, especially with movies, like, now it's so easy for things to be good, like, technically.
Yeah.
So when you can shoot something on your iPhone, and, like, it's so accessible, so everything's good in the same way, and things can be bad in the same way. Does that make sense? I think I heard, like, Kevin Smith talking about it on Comic Book Men or something like that, and saying how, like, when he made Clerks, you know, he had to sell all his comic books and write all the whole story by a camera, and now, like, everyone's got a camera. Everyone's got that ability. I think same sort of thing with music. Yeah,
it's one of those tough things, though, isn't it? Because the trade-off on that is that sort of supply-demand curve problem where suddenly it's accessible to everybody, and then being able to actually find and maintain an audience. I was listening to some comic book artists, indie people talking about, you know, that whole social media thing, and saying it's not like people will even go to your site anymore. You have to spend a whole part of your week reminding people that you exist. You have to remind them every day that you're there and that you're still a thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there's 1,000 other things that will draw the attention away that day.
Yeah. I, like, totally know that whole, you know, current generation, people are like, oh, you're so impatient. If a Vine doesn't load quick enough, which is what, like 7-second video, I'm like, what? To be fair, I do live in Kwinana, which is like an internet black hole.
For American fans, just think of Fury Road.
Yeah, well, it's what, like, I remember, because I know Wertho is a great...
ambassador.
Yeah, for the show. I was at a school assembly, and Wertho was like an aspiring icon for my school. Like, it was like, you know, someone in Rockingham, which is the suburb next to Kwinana, made it big, and you all can do... Like, he was a goal.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, if the internet there's terrible, and if a Vine doesn't load, I'm sort of just like, is it worth it? Like, if I have to wait longer than the 7 seconds it takes to watch it?
Yeah. And we've got... You think about that, like... this is us getting all different and philosophical about things, but I think that's kind of cool. I think about that with... You know, sometimes doing these shows, you wonder, well, who are we actually hitting? Like, you don't hear from a lot of people. There's not a lot of feedback, but I don't give feedback to the things that I listen to. And then I think, I'll sometimes be reminded of a person and think, they used to contribute quite a bit onto our discussion page or something, and I haven't heard from them for a year. I wonder what they're doing now. But that's the thing. How... Like, you've got so little time to devote time to anything. Like, to think that this would be a thing in your week where you would go, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to that, or even more so the people that actually join discussions and things. It's really full on because there's so many things out there and really excellent things that people could go, no, I'm going to spend the time there instead. So, you know, we have the tools, but yeah, it's so difficult. I was thinking that, like, you know, I remember being a kid and calling grandparents or something to state, and this idea of, oh shit, you've got to be really, really fast because this is the most expensive thing, and it's like watching a bomb ticking down. Whereas when you think that I can collaborate with someone in US over Skype or whatever, and it's not costing us anything and it's so easy to produce, you kind of wonder in a way, well, why don't we do more things? And the answer is because I want to play video games.
And I want to watch Vines.
That's right. So...
Well, I think, yeah, if there's anyone who remembers this movie and is unsure about it, I think you should watch it again. I don't know if there's anyone who would be, not saying I'm the youngest person in the world, but have that sort of childhood feeling about it. But, like, watching it again as an adult was just like watching it again for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get any of the jokes that are, you know, probably a good thing, but, like... And the comic book reference and all of that. So I think it's worth watching as an adult as well.
Yeah, it's a fun film.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's really, really interesting. All right. Well, that was great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Really lovely to have that discussion there at the end to put a little last minute substance into this.
It's not all white Earth, Wally.
Hollow shell. Talking about hollow shells, oh my god, that image of like Taylor Swift in the plastic invisible car in the Bad Blood. Like they're in a car which is all transparent, but it's not like a special effect or anything. It's just like it's supposed to be an invisible car, but it's just the plastic shell of a car. So great.
I'm really excited for your new
My
Taylor
journey.
Swift. Yeah, I'm happy to be part of this. Just
Xavier's a Taylor Swift fan, I'm pretty sure. Xavier, who did
everyone's
Flipper last, yeah.
Look, when it used to be uncool to like Taylor Swift, and then she started getting cooler. So, but welcome to everyone. If you on the ship late, it's fine.
I have a feeling I was having lunch or something with Jacinta and Suzanne, and I said something like Taylor Swift came up, or there was an image or something. Maybe she was on the TV behind, and I said, I think she's like really attractive, and they were like just both straight away, no, that's gross. No, shut up. I just won't entertain that one. So, there we go. All right. Thanks for listening. Do you want to say the thing?
Catch you on the flips.
Taylor Swift emoji.